Alright, so here we are at the Yamaha Waverunner XL760. It's been running like crap, so I'm going to dig into this engine. I'm going to start by taking the exhaust off, and not exactly sure. Well, I know this has to come off, and then I'm going to separate it here maybe and see what's down in here. And go from there, I guess. So I'm gonna start taking this off, take that band clamp down there off, and we'll see where we're at then. I got the workbench all set up, got a piece of paper here, so everything I take off I am going to put on this workbench and label it with a Sharpie so I know where it goes back to. Okay, so here we are. I started working towards taking the exhaust off, but then I figured that I might as well go ahead and I took the top of the carburetor off, basically the air housing. There's no actual filters, there's a arrestor plate and everything. So I took that off, and then I got this head all loose, and I am going to take this off. I took these hoses there, hose there, some small random stuff, the part that held on the exhaust, and I'm going to take this off right now to see what it looks like. Oh, alright, so this side is the front, looks pretty clean. That is the back, doesn't look so clean, doesn't look so nice, and I don't know if you saw what I saw, but here's my parts lineup. Everything I've taken off in line. Ugh, a big gaping hole. I suppose that's why I don't have compression right there. So I'm gonna move the cylinders a little bit. Actually, I could probably do that. Right. I haven't disconnected the battery or anything yet, but I want to get a better look at the hole. There we go. Now, I don't really see any scoring or anything. Feels pretty good. Ooh, maybe right there. Maybe no, yeah. Something caught right over here and put a big, I don't know if you can see that, something caught right here. You can see it on the piston, drug right up there. So I guess it's going to be the new pistons, rings, and sleeves. You can buy this whole assembly for $400 and some change. Now that I know what I'm looking into, or now that I know what I'm looking at, I'm going to go ahead and complete disassembling that before I actually place the order, because I want to check how much play is in the bearing on this side, on this piston, if there's any play. If there's not, great. If there is, it will be a new motor, because a new motor is $700 and something, so probably $800 with sending this one back. So I'm not going to short myself by any means on the engine. I'm not going to rebuild this one just to have it fail and blow the rings or blow the lower end out possibly. So I'm going to see what that looks like, and then we'll go from there, because you could see down, maybe you can't see, but I could see down in there, and you could see the ring is still there. So whenever that piston broke, it must have tossed the chunk of the piston up out of there. So I don't think it made it down to the crankcase, and that's what I was worried about. Or that's what I am, I guess, worried about. So, time to tear it down, see what's going on. I'll bring you along for the ride. Okay, here's where we're at now. I loosened these band clamps, scooched this forward, and now I am going to take these band clamps loose. I already got the band clamp down there loose, and the last two bolts out of this. So that moves around a little bit now, but I need to loosen these, at least this back one, I think. And then I should be able to pull this part of the exhaust. It's going to come out in two pieces. It'll be this piece and then the rest of it after this is up, because after this is out of the way, then I can get to the rest of the bolts. Alright, I almost have this exhaust off. I took these two bolts out and I loosened this clamp and moved it up, or moved this boot, that boot, loosened that one. I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't come off, and I found there's two bolts back under here, but I tried to get to them, but I've also found that there's a bracket right under here with one of the bolts in it, and you could take that bracket off, and now the whole thing is real loose. So there's one hidden bolt under there. It's a 12mm, just like everything else. So if you can't get it off, that's probably why. Okay, exhaust is out. This is that hidden fastener right down here I was talking about. This is where a let me show you. This, like, I don't know, some sort of recirculation water. It hooks up right here to the end of the head. That goes through that little hole that I was just showing you with the grommet on it right there. And then I removed, I loosened this, but I ended up taking it off here because it was just a lot easier to do right off of the muffler right there. So it goes through that hole, it goes right back to the muffler. It was much easier to take out that way. Okay, the rest of the exhaust should be able to come out. There's two bolts here, one here, two over on this side. You got to remove this mount. I'm just simply moving this out of the way. I'm not taking it out of it because it's got water cooling lines and stuff that go to it, and I don't need it out of the machine, so it's just getting set aside. But I did disconnect the battery because the starter for this thing is right under there, right under the exhaust. So I don't want this thing to fall down on it, and maybe there's still a bolt somewhere, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look over it, but as far as I know, everything's out. But yeah, starter's under the exhaust. So even though I had all the bolts out, I had to get the dead blow hammer out to get that off. Just hit it on the front. It finally popped out. There is the starter down underneath there. I took it off so I could clean up the mating surfaces. I took it completely out so I could clean up the mating surfaces. This is the water line that goes into the exhaust. Water line that goes into the exhaust, and I'll show you over here. Connects right there. But I'm gonna clean up these surfaces so I get a good seal. But this is what it looks like. And here are the two long bolts that go through the bottom. It looks cast. It looks very, very heavy, but it's not. It's not any of that. Maybe it's cast aluminum. I don't know. It's cast something, and it's lightweight. So you know, don't be afraid to pull it off of there. So now I'm going to remove the. I'm going to take the 6 bolts out, these 6 bolts, and pull that whole the sleeves up off. Okay, pistons are now out. Not so pretty on the back one here, but all in all, I hope you can see that. It's got a big gouge there. Let me flip it over. This is the super shitty side. There's no rings left on it. They don't exist. This is the side where the exhaust valve was too, and it's all beat up. So apparently it was trying to send the everything, the rings and part of the piston that got all messed up, off out the exhaust. So there's one thing to remember whenever you're taking this apart, is that there's two washers in between the wrist pin bearing, I think is what that's called. So there's two washers. I dropped one of them. I ended up getting it back with a magnet. They are magnetic. But yeah, so I'm gonna do the whole new sleeves, new pistons. I know people are gonna give me some shit over this, over not changing the whole engine. But I don't know. It was running fine. I just don't want to spend that extra money. I don't want to do the extra work if I don't have to, and everything feels nice and tight on there. And you know, this is just common stuff that goes bad. Two strokes you have to rebuild every now and again. So, you know, so I'm gonna rebuild it. You know, feel free to give me shit over it if you want, but that's as far as I'm gonna go. If down the road I gotta spend more money on it, I mean, I guess that's what I'll have to do. But for now, it's gonna get new sleeves, new pistons, new rings, and be put back together. So this will probably be the first video I'm gonna put out, and then I'll make another one of me putting it back together, I guess. If you got this Waverunner and you have issues or whatever, I hope this video helps you, because I couldn't find anything on this specific, or a two-cylinder Yamaha Waverunner. So hope it helps you. Thanks for watching.